Kennedy, what do you think? I mean, so much happened 75 years ago. Here we are, a world away from that World War with a different relationship with Japan. Is this the right thing to do, or should there be an apology?
I think it is the right thing to do, and I think there should be an apology. And, you know, maybe that makes me a bad person, but I'm a patriotic person, and I think what they did was horrific. I think it was a dirty, filthy sneak attack, and I think thousands of people died. They knew exactly what we were doing, and I don't think there's a direct comparison between the bombs at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Sorry.
So it was a sneak attack, but it was a military attack on a military installation. What's your take?
No, I would say that asking for apologies surrounding war events, especially that happened 75 years ago, is difficult because it's never going to happen. Obviously, the leaders of whatever country it is made those decisions at the time, thinking that their best interest of the country was in mind. That being said, I agree with Kennedy. What they did was a sneak attack. It got us into World War II. It created a situation where we had to drop an atomic bomb to end the war, which they are responsible for, in my opinion. And so we're not going to get an apology. I think it's important to emphasize that the relationship now with Japan is different than it was then. It's an ally that we need in that region of the world, and I'm just glad that President Obama didn't apologize when he went over to Japan. I breathed a sigh of relief after that.
But you thought that he might.
I thought that he might, and I'm glad that he did not. And I do think that the White House should apologize to the veterans they called bitter, who actually do have an issue with what's happening today.
Sure, you can understand why. I read a number of articles about World War II vets who were there, who lived with the difficulty of that day and the war that unfolded. Does this speak, Dagan, to America? I mean, here we are 75 years later with a former enemy here, recognizing that, whether people are apologizing or not. And we helped rebuild and reassert that country into the world community.
And now this is an incredibly critically important relationship that we have, our most important in the Pacific and in Asia. And this relationship between Abe and President-elect Trump is going to need to deepen even further. And we can't, again, worsening relations with China, the continued nuclear threat of North Korea, and there many other developments in other countries, whether you're talking about South Korea or even the Philippines, that are unnerving. You had Abe, he was the first leader to fly to New York, the first foreign leader to meet with Donald Trump. I think that speaks volumes, and what's happening at Pearl Harbor speaks volumes about how close we are today and how we need to continue to be.
Yes, and how important is that relationship? You look at China asserting itself there. I mean,
but I wanted to lean on you a little bit more, because I, like you, read so many of those stories of surviving veterans. Some want an apology, some want him to mourn with them. Because you speak to and represent veterans, and you are one yourself, I mean, what would you like to see happen here?
I think everyone internalizes and deals with stuff like that differently. Some might want an apology adamantly. Others have turned the page. Others think it is great to mourn and honor it. Personally, I'm really glad we didn't apologize in Hiroshima. And I understand why they wouldn't as well, even if I may want that. I mean, I think we do go down a slippery slope when we're apologizing for every action we've taken in war, whether it was a sneaker attack or not.
That was a big one, though.
No, it's a big one, but I would say, listen, they had made a strategic decision, and fighting the way they were and allied with Germany, that they were going to attack a military installation that was not properly defended. It was a sneak attack.
What do you make of at least his presence there, then?
Well, no, I think he's doing it respectfully. He's doing it as an ally. He's doing it in a recognition that it was an emperor and an ideology 75 years ago that led the world to war and horrific massacre. And I think they've atoned for that. I think part of this is continuing to atone.
I'm sure that Hitler is not too happy about Pearl Harbor. Because if the United States had not been drawn into the conflict, Western Europe might look very,
well, no, we were asleep for a long time, and in a very unfortunate way. This moment,
splendid isolation of our own.
Woke us up.